Whoa, hey guys, you caught me in the middle of a heated discussion on my exclusive Master Thinker Discord server. If you're a loyal thinker, there's no chance you haven't heard of the monumental discussion we've been having about the official canon Pokemon timeline for the past year over on my Nitro Boosted Discord server. Our discussions about the timeline have culminated in a massive breakthrough, so I had to pull it up off the server onto a video to make sure you guys get the full scoop. I know you guys have been begging for a Pokemon vid, and now is officially the time. I'm gonna assume you thinkers have been somewhat keeping up with my previous findings, so I won't spend too long going over the canon timeline I've assembled. But if you happen to be one of the slow bros who isn't allowed in my intelligent Discord server, I'll be nice and review where we're at just this once. As most of you know, a large portion of the main series Pokemon games take place inside an insidious simulation, created at the beginning of the timeline in the early simulation arc. This arc starts with Pokemon Go, where the evil simulation began. Pokestops as GPS simulation points. Pretty obvious. The construction of the simulation in Go is quickly followed by Pokemon Alpha Sapphire, which is the meat and potatoes of this entire arc. We know this due to the presence of Kyogre, who was clearly a fake Pokemon. Then comes Diamond, and consecutively Pearl. This is when we begin to see the mind blockers being installed, as you can see from the appearance of Pokemon who have mind blockers, such as Gastrodon, Spiritomb, and Electivire. This takes us into the events of Red, Blue, and Yellow, where there is an odd lack of evidence of simulation activity, presumably because it was running perfectly during those games. We then move into the Porkins arc, beginning with Pokemon Crystal. This entry in the series was the first to drop a hint about the whole simulation theory, due to canon dates provided in the instruction booklet. These dates detail the injection of the first external hacker, Ronald Porkins, who we're pretty sure entered the simulation as Suicune. As far as we know, the next games, Ruby and Emerald, are artistic accounts of simulation life, showing the true horrors that can go on behind the scenes, and they are quickly followed by Fire Red and Leaf Green. These games house the Bite of 83, another canon date when we are sure there was an external hack, presumably responsible for injecting Giovanni into the game. My Discord fans are sure to know which game comes next, Pokemon X and the Bike of 87. The bike officially places this game at this point in the timeline, but we still do not know why. After the bike comes Silver and Soul Silver, where the messenger Lugia becomes sentient and aware of its presence as a person in the simulation, subsequently passing that knowledge onto the player, therefore taking the first step towards the player's journey arc. But before we enter that arc, the Porkins arc dwells quite oddly on Pokemon Black, where most of the game is spent in a flashback to Pokemon Blue. That one's really been stumping us. I suppose it's due time I officially address Heart Gold and Gold, because a very vocal minority of thinkers on the Discord don't believe they are non-canon. It's very clear that these games take place in a quantum quasi-parallel dimension and do not occupy a space on our timeline. But that's a whole nother theory. After the flashback, the player's journey arc officially begins with Black 2 and White 2. These games take place during the actual events of Black's timeline, where the player from Silver journeys to gather the two data masses, Reshiram and Zekrom, and splice them with the simulation's core, Kyurem. Then, keeping informed for Generation 5, Pokemon White is another flashback. This time to Lugia's dream, where Lugia cast off their mind blockers and realized they were in a simulation, gaining the knowledge necessary to inform the player how to shut it down. We resume with Platinum, where the player continues their journey through the mind-blocked distorted realm as they approach the core. In Sapphire, we see a destabilized simulation marked by the appearance of the fake Pokemon Kyogre, and subsequently, in Omega Ruby, we see the player dismantle the entire simulation infrastructure. In Pokemon Y, the player leaves the simulation, which can be proven by the appearance of Pokemon like Klefki in the real world. Then, of course, we enter the watered-down post-simulation arc. Ugh, don't even get me started. This arc is just modern developers trying to cash in on the glory that was the Porkins arc. In Sun and Moon, the player takes a vacation. Then in Sword and Shield, the player fights back against the people who made the simulation in order to re-enter it and save more people in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Now, I know that must have been a lot of retrodden ground for my more seasoned thinkers, and newbies, I hope you got all that. But either way, I'll direct your attention to where we left off. We had just figured out that Pokemon White represented Lugia's dream, and that meeting Lugia in the events of Silver/Soul Silver triggered the player's journey arc by unveiling the location of the data masses. But after recent discussion on the Discord, we found a few problems with our previous theory. First of all, you thinkers were quick to point out the small discrepancy in Lugia's dream sequence, where they mentioned that in order to transmit the data, they have to become a Pokemon. While we shrugged this off before, it is strange that Lugia, a Pokemon, would need to become a different Pokemon in order to transmit the info. Alongside that, when the player meets Lugia, they perform a specific animation that we presumed was handing over the locations of the data masses, but many thinkers have suggested that Lugia is actually serving the player a plate of lasagna. Furthermore, we cannot forget the long-questioned fact that the famous first hacker, Suicune, aka Ronald Porkins, seemingly has no influence on Lugia's behavior. After Mr. Porkins penetrated the simulation, he disappeared, leaving no trace. This, coupled with the lack of evidence in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, is very odd. Not to mention, our Bike of 87 theories have all hit dead ends, and we still don't know what the hell the flashback in Pokemon Black is supposed to mean. What if I told you, thinkers, that I can explain all of these discrepancies? Yeah. If you read the title, I think you know where I'm going with this. I've done extensive exploration in every untouched nook and cranny of Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, and I'm proud to report that I've discovered a single NPC that blows our previous theory out of the water. Ever notice this old-timer standing just outside the Celadon City Gym? Many of you non-critical thinkers out there might have just brushed him off, but what if I told you that this unassuming person is... You might want to sit down for this, thinkers. Ronald Porkins! I know, it sounds crazy, but please bear with me for a minute. Previously, we all thought that Ronald Porkins was injected as Suicune, but when I lay it all out for you... I think you'll realize where we went wrong before. Let me start from the top. Ronald Porkins made his glorious entrance in Pokemon Diamond, while the Mind Blockers were first being installed. In those early stages, not all intelligent life forms were Pokemon, and Ronald managed to enter as a human. I mean, with Kyogre around, what couldn't be possible? In fact, Mr. Porkins was cooking up a scheme of his own, filling our dead spot in the early simulation arc during Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow. While laying low, Ronald constructed a back door into the simulation by way of a little guy known as Missing No, thus creating a perfect pathway for a certain hacker to enter the simulation. Actually, you know that hacker quite well, my avid thinkers. That's right, it's Ronald Porkins, aka Suicune. But wait, did Ronald make a gateway for himself? Well, not exactly, because Ronald Porkins, the old man, canonically had a son. That son's name? Ronald Porkins Jr., aka Ronnie, aka Suicune. Confirmed in the instruction booklet to be working as a hacker during the bite of 83, we now know that Ronnie was the one who came into the simulation with the locations of the data masses. The artistic styles of Ruby and Emerald are clearly Ronnie's perspective upon entering the simulation, and the bite of 83 indicates the exact moment when Ronnie transferred the byte of information to his father, rather than indicating Giovanni's entry. Now, my loyal thinkers will know what happens right after the bite of 83, that being the bite of 87. But I'm sad to say this new revelation still does not explain Pokemon X's seemingly random placement in the timeline. However, I'm pretty sure it doesn't contradict our new theory thus far. But wait, doesn't this mean that Lugia wouldn't be the one to transfer the data mass locations to the player? Precisely. All you lasagna radicals in the Discord officially have my permission to at everybody and tell them you were right. Lugia didn't hand over anything except a steaming plate of lasagna. In fact, Pokemon White wasn't even his dream. It was Ronnie's. Ronnie's dream gave him the inspiration to enter the simulation as Suicune and transfer the info that he already knew to his father. And when you meet his father in-game, he is the one who hands over the locations of the data masses. Our previously unexplained flashback to Pokemon Black is Ronald's time constructing the back door for Ronnie. All of these events fall perfectly into place, and our ironclad player's journey arc remains perfectly stable. But there's one final nail in the coffagregus that pushed this theory over the edge for me. In all the times where the player can find the old man in Celadon City, it heralds a critical point in Ronald's story. But even in the final arc, in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee in the watered-down post-simulation dumb vacation games, you can still find Mr. Porkins in the simulation, helping people find their way out right there alongside you. So, to summarize, the Lugia Lasagna theory was correct. Ronnie Porkins was Suicune all along, and Ronald Porkins truly was the key to it all. But hey, that's just my thinking, my game thinking. See you thinkers in the next episode. And what do you say? A bit more Pokemon? I agree. See you then.